Clarity Clinical Solutions.
Every clinical trial site eventually reaches its conclusion. The last subject has completed the last visit, all data queries are resolved, and the time has come to formally close the site's participation. The site closeout visit is the final interaction between the sponsor and the investigative site, marking the end of the operational relationship. Far from being a mere formality, closeout is a critical regulatory milestone that ensures all data is finalized, all investigational product is accounted for, all records are properly archived, and the site's obligations are fulfilled. This module covers the purpose, process, and best practices for conducting effective site closeout visits. Site closeout can be triggered by several events. Most commonly, it occurs when the site has completed all subject activities, the last enrolled subject has finished their final follow-up visit and all data has been entered and resolved in the EDC system. Closeout may also be triggered by early site termination due to poor performance, enrollment failure, or serious non-compliance. For multi-center studies, the closeout visit at each site occurs on a rolling basis as individual sites complete their work, while the study overall may continue at other locations. The timing of closeout must balance the need for complete, clean data against the costs of maintaining an active site that is no longer enrolling or following subjects. Preparation is the key to an efficient closeout visit. Before arriving on site, the CRA performs a comprehensive pre-closeout review of the investigator site file remotely. This review verifies that all regulatory documents are present and current, all required approvals are documented, and all subject records are complete. The CRA reviews outstanding data queries, ensuring the site has resolved them or has a plan to resolve them during the visit. The CRA also reviews drug accountability records to anticipate the reconciliation work needed. A pre-closeout checklist is used to confirm that all prerequisites are met before scheduling the visit. The closeout visit follows a structured agenda designed to leave no loose ends. The CRA begins with a final review of all subject records, confirming that source documents match the final EDC data for every subject. Regulatory documents are audited one final time. Investigational product is fully reconciled, dispensed versus returned versus destroyed, and all remaining supplies are prepared for return or destruction. The CRA reviews the site's file archiving plan and confirms that the site understands its record retention obligations. The visit concludes with a closeout meeting where findings are discussed and the final site closeout report is initiated. The final data verification during closeout is the last opportunity to identify and correct data discrepancies before the database is locked. The CRA confirms that every data point for every subject at the site has been entered in the EDC system. All queries have been resolved. All adverse events are documented, graded, and assessed for causality. All concomitant medications are recorded with correct start and stop dates. All protocol deviations are documented and classified. For most sponsors, the closeout visit includes a final 100% verification of key efficacy and safety endpoints across all subjects. After closeout, no further data changes are permitted without formal documentation. Drug accountability reaches its final conclusion during the closeout visit. The CRA and site pharmacists together reconcile every unit of investigational product ever shipped to the site, product dispensed to subjects, product returned by subjects, product destroyed, product shipped back to the sponsor or depot, and any product lost or damaged. Quantities must balance exactly. If the numbers do not add up, the discrepancy must be investigated and documented before closeout can proceed. All remaining investigational product is either destroyed on site according to approved procedures or shipped back to a designated returns facility with proper chain of custody documentation. The closeout visit ensures that the investigator site file is complete, organized, and ready for archival. The CRA verifies that every required document is present, the signed protocol and all amendments, the investigator brochure and all updates, all IRB approvals, the signed Form 1572 or equivalent, delegation of authority logs, staff training records, subject screening and enrollment logs, and all monitoring visit reports. The site retains these records for the period required by regulations, typically at least 2 years after the last marketing application approval, or 2 years after formal discontinuation of the investigational product development. For most studies, this means 15 years or more of retention. Subject-level source documents, medical records, laboratory results, imaging studies, signed consent forms, remain at the site according to the clinical trial agreement and local regulations. The CRA confirms that the site has a plan for storing these records securely for the full retention period, maintaining subject confidentiality throughout. The closeout visit also addresses any subject-specific follow-up obligations. Some studies require ongoing data collection after the study ends, such as long-term survival follow-up, and the site must have a plan to continue submitting this data under an extended agreement or have a handover process for transferring this responsibility. As site activities wind down, the financial relationship must be formally closed. The CRA or contract specialist reviews the site's financial records to confirm that all subject visit payments have been calculated correctly, pass-through costs are reconciled, and any outstanding invoices are submitted. Final payments, including completion bonuses if specified in the clinical trial agreement, are authorized once the closeout visit is complete and reports are accepted. The clinical trial agreement is formally terminated according to its terms. Disputes over payment or contract terms can delay closeout, which is why financial reconciliation is often started well before the final visit. The closeout meeting is a formal gathering that marks the end of the site's active participation in the study. Attendees typically include the PI, study coordinator, and key site staff, along with the CRA and sometimes the clinical trial manager. The CRA presents a summary of the closeout findings, noting any outstanding issues and their resolution. The PI confirms the site's understanding of its post-trial obligations, record retention, potential inspections, and any ongoing subject care needs. Both parties sign the site closeout report, which documents the date of closeout, confirms that all activities are complete, and formally releases the site from further protocol obligations. Not all sites make it to the planned end of a study. Early termination may be initiated by the sponsor due to poor enrollment, repeated protocol violations, data integrity concerns, or serious non-compliance. It may also be initiated by the site itself due to staff turnover, loss of PI, or institutional policy changes. Early termination requires the same closeout procedures as a planned closeout, final data verification, drug reconciliation, and regulatory document archiving, but often under tighter timelines and with heightened scrutiny. The sponsor must also notify the IRB and applicable regulatory authorities of early site termination and ensure appropriate transfer of subject care. Site closeout does not mean the end of regulatory risk. Sites remain subject to inspection by the FDA, EMA, or other regulatory authorities for years after the study concludes. The CRA's final act is to ensure the site is prepared for a potential future inspection by confirming the ISF is complete and logically organized, that subject records are identifiable and accessible, and that the site has a designated contact person for inspection inquiries. The CRA advises the PI on what to expect during an inspection and provides contact information for sponsor support. Many sponsors provide a post-closeout inspection preparedness checklist as a final service to the site. The closeout visit is also an opportunity for learning. Experienced sponsors use this time to gather feedback from the site team about their experience, what worked well, what could be improved in the protocol, the monitoring approach, or the data collection systems. This feedback is aggregated across sites and used to refine processes for future studies. Sites that had a positive experience are more likely to participate in future trials with the same sponsor, making the closeout interaction an investment in the long-term sponsor-site relationship. A professional, respectful closeout process leaves a lasting impression that influences a site's willingness to work with you again. The site closeout visit is the final chapter in the sponsor-site relationship and a critical regulatory milestone. A thorough closeout ensures that data is complete and accurate, investigational product is fully reconciled, regulatory documents are properly archived, and the site understands its long-term obligations. Whether planned or due to early termination, closeout must be conducted with the same rigor as every other phase of the trial. Key principles are preparation, methodical verification, complete documentation, respectful communication, and future-focused planning. Done well, closeout not only satisfies regulatory requirements but also strengthens the sponsor's reputation and lays the groundwork for successful future collaborations with investigators who trust and respect the process.